Hello, hello. So, before I start, welcome. Today is Thursday, August 19th, 4 p.m. EST. It's great to be here. And today I'm going to read some viewers' comments, read the news of the week, viewers' comments, and address any comments or questions I get in the chat. And the reason I turned the music off today before I went live is because when it switched to this scene, it was making a weird noise. So I just turned the music off. But as you just heard, when it switched to me, it made that weird noise anyway. So I should have just left the music on. So I will trim that off the start of the video. In fact, I'll start again, trim it off the start of the video, and then contact Ecamm Live to find out what happened. Okay. So funny. Before I begin, let me say hi to everyone in the chat. So Brian's here. Welcome, Brian. Are you new here? If you are, please subscribe, ring the bell. I've got a bit of a milestone coming up. Let me just check here. I am about 88 subscribers away from 9,000. So please make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell. I would appreciate it. So welcome, Brian. Good to see you. Jasper is here. I believe Jasper has some questions for today. So I'm glad you could be here live, Jasper. This is great. And Maury's Music sent me a super chat. Check that out. Wow. I must be special. This is great. I actually had an idea because Maury's Music will be away next week. Well, the store is open. He will be away. And I thought I might put my Maury's Music shirt on and take over the store for the week. I was going to make a trailer. I was going to say, hi, everyone. Hi, Maury. Don't worry. Your store is in safe hands because I will be running the store next week while you're out of town. Don't worry. Everything will be just fine. Oh, dear. In fact, I feel like it's very quiet here with just me. I might just play some music in the background while I'm talking for a bit. Let's try this one. There we go. Why not? I quite like that. Okay, this is great. Who else is here? Patsy Smith is watching from Suffolk, UK. And Maury's in Coaldale, Pennsylvania. No music. Well, I just explained that, Maury. Love technology. Sometimes there's a few bugs we have to iron out. I shall address that for the next stream. No sound. There was sound. I just didn't play any music. I'm playing the music now. I'm switching things up. I quite like having the music in the background while I chat. I'll turn it off when we do the questions. Jim says, hello, Aaron Short Music. ASM. I like that. ASM. Does that stand for something else? No, I don't think so. A soggy Vermont, minus 73 degrees, and the dew point is 73 degrees. Thanks to Fred, Tropical Storm. Oh, stay safe, Jim. David, good afternoon from Oregon. Good to see you, David. Thomas, nonsense. I'm in Brisbane. Wow, you're keen. 6 a.m. to start work. What do you do? What's your job? To work at 6 a.m., Thomas? You see, I moved this stream from 7 p.m. back to 4 p.m. for everyone in Europe and America. I know a lot of people are working, will have to watch the replay. But I did feel bad about the Australians because if you're in Australia, it must be hard to tune in. But now you've told me you tuned in at 6 a.m. I guess there's no excuse, right? So that's fine. Hi, Lee. How you doing? Good to see you. Got any new guitars lately? Bimo says, bravo. I jumped. Marco says, hi, Aaron. Hi, Marco. Thanks for the Oasis video you sent me this week. Always good to see more Oasis videos. Rosanna says, hello, Aaron and everyone in the chat. Good to see you, Rosanna. Bimo, news of the week is Rick Beato's Pat Metheny. Is that? Oh, good. I love Rick Beato's videos. I'll be checking that out later on. Howard, good to see you here. Says, hi, everyone. Professional procrastinator. So I have an update on the in-ears. Bear with me, I'll give that to you in a second. An interview from Rick Beato. Remember those interviews I used to do years ago, like last year? What happened to those? I must do more of those. Says, please. Oh, he wants me to run the store. Okay, I hadn't thought about this. Okay, I might have to get in the car and start driving then. Okay, see you soon, Maury. He doesn't know what he's got himself in for. That is not a good idea. Hi, Charlie in the UK. Good to see you. Let me know if you got any new gear this week. Anyone buy anything this week? Let me know. I got one little thing that I'm going to show you in a bit as well. Nothing too exciting, but actually something that's really useful. Mark says, hi from Bonnie, Scotland. Good to see you. Mark Johnson, hi. Dan of New Jersey, hi. Lee says, Maury, me and Rosanna will come and run the store. Promise you'll have to restock when you're back. Hey, you just took my idea. That's my... I was first, Lee. Get out of here, Lee. That's my plan. Take my job. Stephen says, hi from New Jersey. Jack's here. Good to see you, Jack. And Thomas says, system support and working from home on 3 screens. Well, 2 now because you're on one of them. I hope I'm not interrupting your workflow. All right, this is great. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to start with some interesting news and new releases. And then I'm going to read out some comments that I had during the week on videos. And then it's open session. So you can put a cue, put a question if there's something you want me to talk about. Someone wanted to talk about guitars for under $1,000. So we can definitely talk about that today if you still want to. But we will begin with the news. So there's a few cool things that were released this week. The first thing is, I'm just gonna stop the music for a while. Okay, news of the week. How dramatic is that when the music goes off? I love it. So first of all, someone just posted on Facebook that Martin Guitar are hiring. They're hiring for people to work in the factory. Now, I was just thinking, if I apply for that job and get it, you better buy your Martin guitars now. Because you want to buy a pre-Aaron Short guitar. Oh dear. I need one of these for that. And also, I noticed on the Martin Guitar website that they're looking for an assistant to Thomas. And I did meet Thomas at the Summer NAMM show. And so, Thomas, if you are watching, which I'm sure you are not, give me a call because I'm great at booking flights. I'm great at making coffee. And I'm great at playing the guitars in the factory. So give me a call. Cheers, buddy. Maury said we couldn't hear the music behind your voice. Well, you should have been able to. Let me try that again. I just turned it right down. Oh, was it only me that could hear it? Oh dear. You were meant to hear this. I'm so professional. You were meant to hear this. Hang on. Yeah. Now you can hear it, right? Okay. I'm still learning. It's only been a year and a half. I'm still learning these things. So yeah, that's the news about Martin. If you're interested, check out their website. But don't tell them I sent you, okay? And then next news is a big product this week. This is an interesting product. I want to put this on the screen. Headrush, who make the Headrush pedal board, then made the Headrush gig board. They've now got, and the looper board, don't forget the looper board. I tried one of those briefly. It wasn't for me, but I know they released a big firmware update since. They then released this week, I think 2 days ago, they released the MX-5. Now this is an interesting pedal, and I want to talk about it for a few minutes before we continue. I'm just going to bring up Sweetwater here to show on the screen. I want to know, wow, their site is down for maintenance. Seriously? Oh, it's back again. Live TV, right? I would like to know what people think of this pedal. So let me just load it up. Oh, it's still down for maintenance. Interesting. Wow. Sweetwater's website is down for maintenance. That's no problem. I can load up the other page. Please don't tell me there's a global internet outage right now. Really? Let me just try one more time. Wow. So there's some more news. Sweetwater.com is currently down for brief maintenance. So if you own a website, can you check that it's working, please? Because the screen might just go black at any second right now. Oh my, never seen that before. Never ever seen that. Can someone check Toman and Maury's music, please? I'm sure they left Maury's music up there. He's got great security on that website. I'm going to take us to the Headrush website instead. Let me just pull it up on the screen. I just want to get people's opinions on this. I haven't tried it. I have not tried this pedal, and I think it's interesting what companies are now doing. So, one sec. Here we go. Yeah, good. So, this seems to be what's happening, right? 5 years ago, we had the Helix floorboard, and this is very small, by the way, what you're seeing here. We had the Helix floorboard, right? And it was a big, it still is a big device. So Headrush made their own version, which is another big device. And then what you had was, you had your flagship product from line 6, which was the Helix floor. They then made the Helix LT. So it removed a few things, but kept basically the same form factor and power. Then they made other devices like the Stomp, which is a great pedal, by the way. I used it on Sunday, really great. But they made the Stomp, the HX Effects, the plug-in, and then the HX Stomp XL. So what they basically did was took that product that they made in the beginning and then made spin-offs of it. And that's exactly what Headrush are doing. So what do you think about this? They made the Headrush floorboard. Then they made the Headrush looper board. And that's fine, that's great. The looper board was quite innovative and very different to the guitar board. It was a board just for loopers. So I really want to see where they take that. But then they made the smaller pedal, which had like 5 buttons, right? The gig board. And now they've made the MX-5, which just takes away 2 buttons and makes that whole thing even smaller. So what is this? Well, first of all, what do you think about products being like spin-offs of flagship products? I guess that's good business, because you put a ton of money into a product and then you scale it down into other products. I get that. That's business, right? Companies have to do that to get back the R&D. That makes sense. But as a musician, what value do you see in these? Because lately I've been thinking to myself, well, it's a great thought to have such a small pedal, but at the same time, how practical is it? And if you've then got to take this and another controller and a MIDI controller, is it actually more practical in the end, or are you better off just buying the flagship product? So that's what I wanted to ask today, and I want to know what your thoughts are on that process. It looks pretty cool. So you hold down the button, you've got the Stomp rig, you've got the looper, so it takes you to the looper, and a tuner. They added the expression pedal. I don't know why, because like the HX Stomp is so cool because it doesn't have an expression pedal. It's an optional pedal, so you keep that really small form factor. This has the added mini expression pedal. Now, maybe some people like that. Maybe some people don't like it. Maybe some people don't like the mini expression pedals. I don't know. So who is this for? I assume it's more affordable, so it's for people at home, maybe people that are beginning, that don't need a huge pedal board at a gig, maybe a backup. I think it's slightly too big to be a backup. Like my backup right now is a fly rig pedal. I don't love the drive sounds on it. I'd rather not use it if I can use something else. But it's a great pedal because it lives in the guitar case. You literally forget. It's so small, you forget that it's in the guitar bag sometimes. It's just not even there. Now, this won't do that. This will be obviously in your guitar case. So how viable of an option is it as a backup? I don't know. I'd like to try it. I've tried all the modelers now, but I haven't tried the Headrush stuff. I'd like to try it. But I just wonder what this obsession is with getting smaller. That's what it is. It was an obsession with shrinking the gear down so you can say, I just walk in with a guitar and a bag and I play. That's great, but is it practical? That's my question. And if you have any thoughts on that, let me know in the chat. Okay, we come back here. So I'm going to read some more comments out, and then I'll get to my viewers' comments here. Okay. Charlie, I'm loving my new Bose S1 Pro thanks to your review. You bought it because of my review? Very cool. So that is a really cool pedal. The Bose S1 Pro amp. The Bose S1 Pro, I still have mine. You know what I like about the S1 Pro the most, in a way, is the bag. The size of it, it's so small. Again, our obsession with small, right? Everyone wants a small powered amp, battery powered, that will do a gig realistically. Now, some companies tried this and they failed because the small things that were released before the S1 Pro did not do a gig. I tried some and they wouldn't even do a small bar. The S1 Pro was the first product that actually will do a gig, which is really cool. And I love the bag because the bag fits it really well, and it has a compartment in the top where you can store your mic and cables. That was ingenious that they did that. Criticisms of this product. I know some people had some issues with battery stuff in the early days. I think they resolved that. Mine had a problem where the red light would come on, and I've had to like take the battery out and reset it all. It seems to have fixed it. Hopefully that's fixed it, and I'll let you know if it hasn't in the future. But I have done a lot of really great gigs with that thing. It has worked really well. I also did a video, Charlie, where I used my wireless systems to make that completely wireless. So I had a wireless mic, a wireless guitar, the wireless battery-powered speaker, and it was completely wireless. My only criticisms of that unit is that it's got very rudimentary EQ. It's got treble, bass, and 3 presets, which are they call EQ match or tone match. And they're not very versatile. So I find if I plug a guitar into that thing and it sounds great, then I'm good to go. And hopefully you've had a chance to try yours out with your guitar. The problem is I have plugged a couple of guitars into that didn't sound great, and it's very hard to adjust them because they don't give you like an app or any way to adjust those frequencies. You're just stuck with it. So then you have to use an external kind of mixer or pedal to fix that. But like I said, if you've got a guitar that works with that, it's a really great option. So then after they released that, JBL released the Eon Pro Compact, or Eon Compact, which is their version. It's a bit bigger. It's an 8-inch speaker. So it is kind of a bit better for bass players maybe, or DJs. And I've made some comparisons of that. And I've been using that more lately because it will also power my pedals. It will actually power my Play Acoustic pedal. So I can do a gig with no power and still have my pedal. And then that to me is very important. So I still have both of them, but I do kind of lean towards the JBL these days. But I miss the form factor and the bag of the Bose, which might be a weird thing to say. But thank you, and I'm glad I'm glad my review was helpful to you, and please let Bose know that. Howard says, so Maury wishes he wasn't here now. 50% off all Martin guitars at Maury's Music. Ask for Aaron for the discount. Yeah. Oh no, actually, I was thinking, Howard, if I was running Aaron's Music in Coaldale, Pennsylvania, that I would raise the prices. Because, why not, right? Who says I'm going to cut the prices? I was going to raise them. Maury said we couldn't hear the music behind your voice. Yeah, I fixed that now. Here we go. You want it again? Very cool. Charlie says, I may have also bought a Cordoba GK Studio, which I love, for any nylon fans. All right, let me jump over and see what that is. Let me see if that website's back up again, because that's got me a bit worried. Still down. Oh, I'll let you know during the stream. Oh, there we go. It's back. It's back. Calm down. It's back. It's back. Good. How could I survive without surfing these websites, right? Let me see if the Cordoba GK Studio is on this site. Cordoba GK Studio. I want to check this out. Oh, very nice. So I don't actually have a nylon. Oh, no, site's down again. I should just stay off their site because obviously you're doing something. I should go to Cordoba's website. Oh, I'm going to show this on the screen because this looks fabulous. Check this out. Wow. So it's got the solid spruce top, European spruce. Nice. Cypress back and sides. Wow. Soft cutaway and Fishman Priestess blend. Now, that blend pickup is really good. I tried that at a NAMM show. This guy I met from England who's a great fingerstyle guitarist had an artist guitar with, I can't remember the brand, but it was a great guitar because it was really affordable and it had this system. Now, it is a barn door system where you cut into the guitar, but it sounded great because it's got the real mic and it's got the undersaddle, and the mic is not in the sound hole, so it doesn't feed back so much. That's a really great pickup system. That's in that guitar. That's really cool. I actually really want to get a guitar with that system in to try that in my reviews because it is such a good system. This is a flamenco style guitar, so I hope you're going to play some flamenco on it. A solid top, and it's a cutaway. Hey, and the price is great, right? The price of that is really cool. Let me try another site to see if they're down as well. Oh, they're up. $700. That's amazing. With a pickup as well. $700 is really great. Wow. Okay, let us know how that is. It looks stunning, doesn't it? So one of the questions for today was, what is a good affordable guitar? And there we go. We just found one randomly. So if you're looking for a nylon string guitar, then you should check this one out. And I'll hopefully hear from Charlie to say how he likes that guitar. And thank you for showing me that. I'd never heard of that. I've heard the brand. I'd never heard of that instrument. What a great instrument for the money. Let us know how it is to play that thing. And like I said, some pickups are a few $100. So the fact that it comes with that pickup in there, which is a good system. If that is the one with the microphone, that's a really good system. Great stuff. Congratulations on your purchase. Wow. Oh, we got another one. Another purchase. I should really play the bicycle horn. I'll just do it myself. I bought a new acoustic guitar, a small Harley Benton GCS 10S Taylor GS Mini copy. Copy? What? They would copy another brand? No, I don't believe it. Let me look that one up then. Harley CGS 10S. You know, Marco's a fan of Noel Gallagher, and Noel Gallagher says that genius steals? Talent copies, genius steals. Hey, I didn't say that about them. I said that about Noel Gallagher. All right. I'm going to go and check out this guitar that he bought. I'm living through you because I didn't get a guitar this week. No more guitars for me for a long time. Yeah, it looks a bit like it. It doesn't look that much like it. I guess it's got the Harley Benton headstock, right? Let me jump over there as well. So this is on Thomann. I actually have affiliate links with Thomann as well. And I never... I don't think I've said anything with them yet, but they're in my description below. So if you want to use my link when you order something, then feel free. But this says a deluxe travel guitar. That's the CLGS 10S. I love these letters they put on the model names because you have to figure out what they mean, right? So can someone tell me what that means? From our custom line. This handy instrument has a solid spruce top. That's cool. A dynamic, lively sound. The body is made of mahogany, so it's a mahogany body, and features elegant walnut binding. Cool. At 23.5 inches, the scale length is long enough for both decent string tension and a rich sound. Very cool. This guitar is perfect partner on your travels. It will be your go-to guitar when you're at home. So they've got different colors here. Oh, left-handed version. And different colors. Yeah, I see what you mean about the GS. The body shape, yeah, I see that. The headstock is very different. Of course, that has to be on all brands, doesn't it? What is the pickup system in there? Do you know what it is? It's the Harley Benton preamp. They have their own preamp. That could be a rebranded preamp from someone else, but this says the Harley Benton. Harley Benton preamp with integrated tuner. Oh, cool. And I want to know how much these are, so I'm going to click on this one. Check price at Thomann. I do like Thomann. And actually, you can order from Thomann in the USA. $118? What? Holy mackerel. That's a deal of the day. Congratulations on that one. Let us know how that sounds and plays, please. Wow. Fantastic. Congratulations, Marco. Charlie says, oh, yeah, I missed that one. Sorry. So, professional procrastinator. I've tried various acoustic preamps, including Fishman, Baggs, and AER, but have found my best sound is my Taylor 510 with the Anthem Stage Pro pickup into a JHS Pulp and Peel V4 and then direct to PA. That's interesting. You know, as someone that's trying so many pickups and preamps all the time. So, when you said, I need to talk about this for a second. When you said Taylor, I assumed you're using the ES2, which is something I really want to review on here. But you're not. You've got a Taylor without the ES2. Because if you get the ES2 in your Taylor, then you've got the holes in there, right? So you obviously got one without it. Or maybe you didn't. You can plug those holes. Some people sell the plugs that go in the hole. But you got the Taylor 510 without a pickup, I presume, and you installed the Anthem Stage Pro. Oh, the Stage Pro is the one with the barn door that goes in the side of the guitar. So tell us more here. Did you cut into the guitar and add this pickup, or did it come with? Was it an older model where the pickup came in the guitar? Let us know in the chat because I'm not familiar with that. But I wanted to talk more about your signal chain here. I found my best sound is my Taylor with the Anthem. The Anthem is a great pickup, one of the best third-party pickups out there. Into a JHS Pulp and Peel, it's like the compressor, right? So you're compressing it and then going into the PA. That's it. No additional EQ or anything. Well, those pedals do sound, those pickups do sound really good direct. That's why I like them and recommend them to a lot of people. They have a very natural sound. Yeah, that's cool. And then straight to a good PA system. Compression is something I've used sometimes. Like, you know, the Fishman Aura pedal has a one knob compressor, which is great. And when Larry Fishman was on here, he said they were going to release a mini pedal version of that. Can you imagine? That'd be cool. So you just have a mini pedal and you turn it up. I just got switched my mixer for the band. I've got a band gig next week I'll be talking about on my channel. I want to do like the road back to gigging, so I'll be talking about my rig that I'm going to take for this band gig. And for the band gig, this mixer has a one knob compressor, same thing. And I think that's great because I do use compression in recording. I do know how to program it in, but when I'm just at a gig and just want to play, I love the one knob compressor. You just turn it up until you get the right amount of compression and you just go. Sounds obvious, right? But I do think the one knob compressor is great. I don't know what the Pulp and Peel version 4 is. Let me have a look. You're totally enabling me here. You're totally making me look at gear on the web, right? This is not good. Let's try this one on Sweetwater. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, it worked. Okay. Let me show you this one. I love the color. Yep. They've definitely got that color. 8 left. Oh, they put the numbers here now too. 8 left in stock. Very cool. So $229. Yeah. JHS stuff is very well made. So what have you got here? You've got a volume control, a compression amount, an EQ. Okay, so you've got a kind of an EQ on this pedal. That's nice. And a blend. A blend is nice when you can blend in the compression. I know I just said I like one knob compressors, but the blend is very useful. And there's a dirt switch as well. Does that add some kind of drive to the signal? There's the compression and the EQ. So this is actually really versatile. If it works how I imagine it will, and I don't know because I haven't tried it, this would be great for acoustic, wouldn't it? Because you've got the EQ knob, the blend knob, the compression amount, a volume. Maybe you want to use it as a boost for solos, or just use that volume to set it the same volume. This, I can see this being a really good acoustic pedal. Let me check out the reviews. There we go. For electric or acoustic, I have 2 Pulp & Peels, version 3 for my electric and a 4 for my acoustic rig. For electric, I've tried many compressors. I couldn't get them to sound right. This one not only sounds amazing, but it's idiot-proof. Okay. So thank you, my friend. Now this is on my list of pedals for my next birthday. Thank you. It looks cool. It looks really great. And those features look really great too. Fantastic. Okay. So we did a lot of shopping this week, didn't we? Lee got a new pack of strings. What were they, Elixir or Martin? Mojo Jam Track says, awesome Stratocaster and live sign. Oh yeah, my live sign is my pride and joy. This Strat is very dear to me. It's a Sweetwater special. It was basically the American Standard and or the Pro they had last year before the Pro 2. And I had the Illich system installed, and it's got those custom shop vintage pickups in there that do sound really great. And the Illich system works really great as well. And I always wanted a Sonic Blue guitar, and that's why I got that one. So yeah, it's a little bit on the heavy side. I've been weighing my guitars lately. Does anyone weigh their guitars? I've been weighing them all, and that is a little bit on the heavy side. Maybe the system in there adds a bit of weight for the noise cancelling. But I do have a guitar, a Strat, which is like 7.7 pounds, which is really nice because it's really light. Of course, the more stuff you put in the guitar, the heavier it will be, right? I was thinking I might make a video on weighing the guitars to see what they all weigh. Hey, why not? I do pickups. Why not do weighing the guitars, right? Is the Deluxe Reverb over on your right shoulder a Tone Master or the real one? I have the Tone Master, and great. I'm glad you said that because this is something that I really want to speak about as well. The Tone Master amps have been on my radar because I recently made a video which was kind of scary to do, where I said, okay, I think a tube amp in the room sounds richer and more rewarding to me than a solid state amp, okay? And actually a lot of people agreed with me. I'm sure not everyone did, but that was my findings. So these amps are really interesting because what Fender have done, as you probably know, is they've just made one classic amp better. Well, not better, lighter, more practical. They've put all the DSP processing power into that amp. Rather than giving you like 1,000 amps, they've just given you that one amp, that one reverb, that one tremolo, and they've put all the power into doing that, into recreating that. And I think that's, when I first heard that, I thought, is that marketing or does it really work? So you're telling me that really works, right? So let me show you these on the screen. Tone Master. And they just released a new one. That's actually a piece of news I missed. They just released the Super Reverb. So they had the Tone Master Twin, then the Tone Master Deluxe, and now they have the new Super Reverb, which is a bit more money, it looks like. But let's take a look at that then. and I'll just give you my thoughts on it. My amp is actually a hand-wired Fender. It's not the old original. It's a Princeton. But I had a great idea for a video. The problem is this video I want to do will be very difficult to do financially. But I could maybe find a guitar store that has them. What I'd like to do is to make a video where I directly compare the two. Because in my video the other week, I compared my tube amp to the modelers, okay? But that's not a one-to-one, is it? I mean, nothing in life is a one-to-one, of course. But that's not a one-to-one. What I'd like to do with these amps, because they are basically the same thing, is directly compare them in a video and tell you if I think they have nailed it or not. Let me just show this one on the screen then. So this is the brand new Fender Tone Master Super Reverb, and this is 45 watts. So it looks like this. So it's $1,200, right? It's not super cheap. I think it's more expensive because in these super reverbs, you have like more speakers. You have 4 speakers. So they had to put 4 speakers in there. I think that's also why super reverbs sound so good, right? But if you look at this, they're saying it's a perfect replication because again, all the processing power is recreating this amp. So what I would love to do is, like I said, I'd love to get those 2 amps in here, mic up the room, and as my previous video, the micing up the room doesn't really tell you. You gotta be so careful with like mic amps and stuff. It doesn't really tell you how it is in this room, but I can tell you like, I think they sound the same, or I think they sound different, or I think the distortion sounds better on the tubes. You know, this is such a great conversation. I'm so glad everyone's here because the thing is so funny to me. The things you're asking me about are things I'm already thinking about. So I don't know if that means I'm one step ahead or if that means I'm just totally obsessed with this stuff and I need to get some help. But check this out. I just bought this, and actually this is a JHS pedal as well. It's almost like this whole program is completely planned out and you're all just like fueling this script. I love it. That's not the case at all. I bought this from Amazon, and this is one of the best pedals I ever bought. What does it do? Pretty much nothing. That's why it's the best pedal I ever bought. You know, sometimes I watch Tone Wars, and he reviews different amps, and he bought an amp switcher. He can actually switch between different amps live, and you can directly hear the comparisons. Here's the thing. When you compare different gear, have you ever done this? Maybe 2 pedals. You plug into one, you play it. You think, okay, that's the great sound. That's the sound I want. Let me compare the other one. You unplug the pedal, you plug into the other one, and in those few seconds where you're switching over, you kind of forget how the other one was. So what you do with this is you plug, well, what I did with my amp is I plugged my guitar into this connector here. One of these went to my Kemper and one of these went to my amp. And I was literally just pressing this button and comparing the tones. This is what I would do with these amps. You must get the levels the same. If you have one louder, it will sound better. You get the levels exactly the same in the room. You get this switch, and this is how you do it. Then you switch instantly. There's no gap at all. So I had a really interesting time with the Kemper because I bought some profiles of my amp, and I know you should make your own profiles, by the way, but I bought some and they don't sound anything like it. There's this mid-range thing that is not there on those profiles, and I was thinking it's the Kemper. So I tried a different amp, actually a Fender Champion or something. No. What was the amps that Sears used to make? The amps that Sears used to make. I found a profile of that, and it was really close. Interesting enough, it didn't make any sense to me. So I tweaked that, and I used this. And then what happened was, I did this thing where I just went, I closed my eyes, and I just went like that. And then I played. And I thought to myself, right, do I really like this sound? And then I pressed it again, which switched the amp. And I thought, okay, is this better or worse? And I did that until a few times I preferred the Kemper. Yep. And then I'm thinking, well, that's it. That's the answer. There's nothing in here. That is the answer. As long as they're the same volume, if you pick a Kemper a few times over a real amp, and I'm talking headphones now, not in the room, by the way, so don't say I made the wrong video last week. If you pick a piece of gear with your eyes closed and you're playing and it instantly switches, then that must be a good piece of gear. Do you agree? I think that makes sense. So I would love to get this and the real thing, have them behind me, maybe mix them around, so, get someone to mix them around, or forget which one is which somehow. But I would use the A/B switch and just compare them, and I would use the real one with tubes into my aux box versus the IR out of the model, and I would then use them in the room and do the same thing. I think that would be so cool, but I can't buy 2 amps to do that, but I want to find a way to make it happen. So like I said, that was a great coincidence that you just said that, because that was actually what happened to me. That's what I've been thinking about. Toman's working. Yeah, I think Sweetwater's back up now too. I'm not sure. Sometimes these things happen, right? Jasper says, to those that Travis pick a lot like me, take care of your wrist and buy some support wrist grips. So nice to pick with them. Yeah, was it you, Jasper, that was saying about the getting some problems in your hand? Like, we have to think about this, don't we? Like posture and the way we hold the guitar. I was just watching a video the other day with Joe Robinson, and he said he sometimes practices without his thumb on the neck of the guitar, so he's just using his fingers, so there's no tension there at all. Then he'll put his thumb back and try to keep that sensation. It's so easy sometimes, especially I think when you're starting out, and I'm not saying you are, Jasper, but I remember when I was starting out, and especially if you're nervous at a gig, I remember I would like grip that guitar, and I did sometimes get some shooting pain up my arms years ago, but that's kind of gone away. And I wonder if that's because I'm now more relaxed. Not always, but sometimes, generally I'm more relaxed in my playing. Could be that, but it's definitely something you want to look at. I'm not a doctor, Jasper. If you get, and if you're watching this, if you get anything like that, any kind of issues with your hands or fingers or arms, you should go and see a professional to figure that out, because obviously we don't want that to happen when we're playing the guitar. Ema says, usually Sweetwater does maintenance overnight. Yeah, everyone does. I'm surprised. There must be some problems going on. I was kind of half joking. Sometimes you read on the news that a bunch of websites went down, including YouTube. That's why I got nervous. So Lee also bought a pick this week, the blue chip pick BC Jazz LG50. I actually was using mine today. I haven't really used it since I got it. I got the TD40. And the reason that I was using it, Lee, is simply because I couldn't find... I like this bokeh, blurry background. I've been using this because... I might just leave it here the rest of the show. I've been using this today because I had my picks in... My picks were in my other pants, right? Or in the other room. So, it's actually a true story. But I just had this one on the desk, so I used it. And I actually really liked it. Yeah. Sometimes when you change the thing you're used to using, you just have to give it time to get used to it, right? Hey, Sly! Good to see you here, over from Peter Gregg channel. Great. Watching with the Boss Baby from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I'm looking to get a Martin 12 string for my daughter for Christmas. Okay, great. So Sly, please join us one of these Mondays, because the Monday show that I do is all about Martin guitars. So if you join us for that, then you can learn some things about Martins. If you don't already, I'm not sure. But we did do some 12-string videos already that are on my channel as well. So you could check those out. And yeah, take a look and see. I personally haven't really owned a 12-string guitar. I don't think ever. I'd like to, but for me, it's something that I like the sound, but I may not use all the time. So I'm just going to jump over now, and if you're still here, to show you this. We were talking about affordable guitars. Here's a Martin that you can get for... Here's a Martin that you can get for $5.99. So that's really super affordable. I haven't played it. I haven't heard these ones. But if you're looking for something like that, or this is really nice if you want to spend a bit more money. The Martin Grand J16 E12 string. If you need a pickup, and we have done a video on this on my channel, and I don't think this one's not in stock right now. It's coming into stock at Maury's in August. But look at that. It looks great. It's a bit bigger though, so obviously consider the body size as well. But yeah, Martin 12 strings are great. It's just it's not something I've ever owned. It's like the bass. I own a bass now. I bought used. I never really play it. I bought it because I thought, one day I will play it. And maybe I will one day. But right now I'm still learning the guitar. So BMO says, I'm talking about the Headrush. They're making things more affordable for new players. So you think that's what it is? That pedal is for people that are new, like the Podgo, and But I see people using the Pod Go at gigs, at wedding gigs and things. So I guess whatever works for you, right? But it's interesting to see what will happen. Will the pedals get bigger, again next year? Howard says, perhaps it contains the most used features rather than all the bells and whistles. It does. They trim the fat, you know, like the Helix. Sadly for me, the Helix floor is the only one that has the mic input. I really want that mic input on the smaller units like the Stomp XL. Then I could use it for all my gigs. But there isn't one. You have to get the floor for the mic input, and for me, the floor is too heavy for an acoustic gig, and the looper isn't really powerful enough for me. And that's why I still like the Voice Live 3 Extreme, because it does have those things. So yeah, that's exactly what they do, Howard. I'm just wondering really if people are into that, if they think it's something that interests them, or if they would rather just buy the flagship and be done with it, you know? Maybe if you're flying again, that could be useful for that. Bedroom stuff, too dangerous on stage because switches are too close together. I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I'm actually going to, like I said earlier, I'm going to make a video about the rig I'll be using for the wedding. I've got a wedding next week, my first wedding band gig since the lockdown. So I'm going to make some videos about the gear I'll be using, because it's time now to sell a few things and put that money into the channel. I need a few more things. I just got the microphones. I want to go and do some factory tours. I want to do some museum tours when they reopen. I want to go to some music stores. I've got an idea to do a music store video with Spoon Phillips where we try vintage Martins. So for that, I'm going to need new microphones and new gears and new stands and things. And I also thought the same with my gear. Like I've now got the Kemper and the Line 6 and the FM3, the Fractal. And I was just thinking to myself, I don't make videos on all three anymore, and I don't need three, and I could put that money into other places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video where I talk about which one I'm going to choose for the wedding band and why. And I'm not saying that's the best one. Which one will be best for me to get into that wedding band and get the job done. So look out for that possibly tomorrow. Tone Guy, good to see you back again. Enjoyed your company on Monday online. Thanks for being here. Give me a thumbs up. Yes, please. And Jasper says, is it true that Martin will raise their prices this year with 15% due to the fact that wood will get much more expensive? That is a crazy question, Jasper. That is a scary question for me. 15% is not a small increase, is it? And you know the man that could answer that question is Maury Rutsch. But will he answer the question? Is the question. Let's wait for him to reply to that. I don't know. Let's talk about that for a second. Everything is more expensive. We treated ourselves last night to a meal. Right? Went to a restaurant in Long Island. And I just looked at the prices and thought, yeah, the prices have gone up. Well, of course they have. They were shut down for a year. I get it. I do get it, of course. And all prices have gone up. I heard that guitar cabinet prices, like speaker cabs, are going up because of the wood and everything and the parts. Everything has gone up quite a bit. It's the kind of thing I think to myself, if I knew this was going to happen 2 years ago, you know, and of course prices go up anyway, but of course with the situation now and the lack of materials and parts, prices will go up. Indeed, the Quad Cortex went up in price, which was kind of crazy. Like they had that introductory price, which was meant to be the price, but then they couldn't get parts and the prices went up. So let's face it, prices go up most years anyway, and I can see that happening. I don't know if it is happening, and I don't know if Maury does, but my advice, and I say this carefully, is, I mean, if you're looking at getting a Martin guitar or any guitar, Fender, whatever, and you're ready to buy, I mean, maybe start looking seriously, because the prices will go up, right? I don't see them coming down, do you? I see a lot of stuff coming on the used market in a year or two when people maybe sell the things they didn't end up using in the lockdown. Same with cameras maybe as well. But with a guitar, I just assume they will. 15% seems like quite the increase, and again, I don't know anything about that, so we'll see if Maury does, and if not, like I said, it just seems to be the way of everything right now. Everything's going up in price because of availability. Okay, Beamer. Bimo says, Maury mentioned something about a retro. So I couldn't believe Maury texted me the other day and he said there's an OM28E retro for sale on Facebook. And I was like, well, so what? Like, I'm not going to buy it. I bought the used one from Guitar Center, which was the GPC. I do love that guitar for what it is. And I don't think that person is watching right now, but the thing is, I've seen that guitar and some others, and I got some thoughts on that. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I got some thoughts on that. Why? Okay, it's a Martin. So let's say an OM28 Martin. You buy, let's just say you buy that, and then 2 years later, it's in mint condition and you sell it. I would assume you could get most of your money back, right? Some of these, I won't say that guitar. Some of these used retros I've seen are really played in. They got some real wear on them, and they're asking for more money than they cost originally. So my only thought on that is it's so weird because the F1 system is now an older system, and we love it, right? I love it, and BMO loves it. And the reason I didn't keep it around initially is because I felt to myself, well, they're going to make an F1 Mark II, and they never did. And I think that's why the price has gone up, because they didn't make that system again and changed it into something else, which is good as well, but it's different. People now want it, and people are now willing to pay more money for a Martin with holes cut in it. And this is Martin's whole thing. We're not going to cut holes in the guitars anymore. We're going to put the controls in the sound hole. They still cut a hole for the battery, which I think is wrong, but that's my opinion. So with the retro, they're actually selling, and only to some people, and it's not like everyone wants to buy a retro. It's just me and BMO, right? But people are now willing to pay more money for a guitar with technology that may be outdated and may lose its spare parts. Maybe they won't have any more parts for it anymore. And a bit like the ES2 that I was talking about earlier, if you can't get them anymore, you're going to have holes in your guitar. So for those reasons, I don't really want one. If I found a mint OM28 retro for a good price, I would consider it. But I just see acoustic guitar pickups going in different directions. And for that reason, I think that's a bit of a risk myself. I just think it's amazing how some gear can go up in price on the used market. And years ago, it was like used Martin, 50% off, 40% cheaper. Not anymore. Now some of these guitars are going for more money. It's kind of, I don't get it. Charlie says the Cordoba is a great guitar with a nice and low action. And yes, the system has a condenser mic to it. Yes, it does. That is a great pickup. I don't know why more companies don't use it, aside from the fact that they don't want to have holes in their guitars, like I said. But I find that practical, right? And it does sound good through the Bose S1 Pro. Good news. Very good. Check out Ben Woods on YouTube for demos. I will do. Like I said, I like the look and sound of that pickup, and I would like to definitely include that in my pickup review list. I don't know why more companies are not using it. I think that's a good system. Please make that bike horn sound again. Why? You going to steal it from me? I refuse. Marco Godso says, thanks, BMO. Maury, you want the bike sound again? You got to super chat. Pooh Ninja, sorry I'm late. Throw some thumbs up, folks. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. Hi, Wern. How you doing? Good to see you here. Hello. I changed from the Helix Stomp to the Headrush gig board in order to benefit from the touchscreen and not to lose... I mostly play at home for a few friends in the living room, but I think the gig board is the better solution. But I am not a friend of expression pedals, and the touchscreen of the gig board has the right size. Yeah, fair enough. The touchscreens on pedals, that's a whole new thing to talk about, right? Is that really useful? The Quad Cortex, it was useful when it was up here on the table. The problem with the Quad Cortex touchscreen is it's not state-of-the-art. It's not like using an iPad. It's like a generation ago. So it's not completely silky smooth. And that kind of bugs me because I'm used to using an iPhone and an iPad, right? Let me just throw something in the works here. And this is another video I'll be making this during the week. The Kemper app on iPad. Talking about old gear, the Kemper is, was it 10 years old? And they released a stage with a hidden Wi-Fi chip that no one knew about. And now there's a fully blown iPad app for the Kemper. What this means is, on the mic stand, I can have this iPad for my lyrics and also swipe across and make changes to the Kemper without even getting down on the floor at all. Whereas with the Quad Cortex, you have to get down and use the touchscreen. Now, they are releasing an app, they've said, but it's not here yet. So, take that for what it's worth. That's my opinion. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, I think a touchscreen app on your phone and iPad on the mic stand or table is more useful than a touchscreen on the pedal. Do you agree with me? I don't mind if you don't. Let me know in the chat what you think. Should all pedals now come with a touchscreen? I know we're used to it. We're used to it because we use it on our phones. But how practical is it on a pedal when the pedal's on the floor? For me, the most important thing on the pedal is the buttons, because I'll be pressing those, right? And how they work and how many there are and how they're spaced out and how they feel, how they sound. Sometimes the sound of a pedal is actually really important when you tap on it because of the microphones and things like that. If you're recording, I know some people talk about that. It is a real thing. I don't know. I'm kind of undecided on touchscreens. And this might sound weird as well, but I'll just throw it out there to see if anyone agrees with me. At a gig, if you've got a really fancy pedal on the ground with this lovely, gorgeous touchscreen, is that not asking for trouble? Whereas if you have a Kemper with the really horrible, that is a horrible screen, like green and black LCD screen, is anyone going to come over and think, oh, I'm going to steal that tonight, I'm going to take that? But if you've got like a Quad Cortex with the fancy screen and everything, is that... And don't get me wrong, I don't really think about gear like that. It just came to my mind, like, do we need it? Not just for that, but do we need it for controlling the pedal? When an app... And the interesting thing is, with an app, I don't always like it on like a mixer. Like my mixer I'm using now is actually a hybrid. It's sliders, and it's digital effects and anti-feedback, but with sliders. It's a hybrid mixer, and I'll be talking about that as well. These mixers that are just a box and you use an app with it. Now, I know Maury uses that and it's worked for him. I'm not saying they don't, but that just scares me a bit because it's like, well, if I need to make a quick adjustment, I can't. That's just a box. Now, it does mean it's light and portable, of course. That's good. That's really good. But there's no physical controls at all. And then some of these mixers have these touch screens on them as well. But again, how responsive is it? Is it not better to use sliders over even an iPad all the time? These are just thoughts I'm throwing out there. None of these are my ultimate conclusions on this gear, but I just want to ask you what you think. Poo Ninja says 6 full stacks. That's what I prefer. Pod HD Direct at front of house is what I use. And I think that's what a lot of people are thinking, what a lot of people are doing. Like, I use my real amps at home, but I use the modelers at the gigs simply for convenience. But you know what? I think I'm in a different place because I sing as well. So I take 2 PA speakers, 2 monitors, the mixer, the cables, huge bag of cables. I can't even really take an amp with me. It wouldn't be possible without getting a bigger car, and that's not going to happen. So that's why I use them. And I feel like, well, I'm taking the speakers already anyway. So do I need to then take the amp as well when I can plug in and get some really good tones? I would rather have a real amp, yes, but I physically can't do it. If I was only playing the guitar, I would, and the band allowed backline, I would definitely take a real amp because I do think it's more fun and can cut through a bit better at times. Bimo says, I think JHS pedals are made by Bad in California with Friedman, Tone King, etc. I didn't know that. You mean boutique amp distribution? Make JHS? I actually didn't know that. Is that right? Very cool. Lee says, Maury, I just sent that video to your ear. What video? What's going on? I hope this is nothing for Monday's show. Professional procrastinator says, my Taylor originally had a Fishman Prefix Pro. I sent to Taylor to install the ES2 but hated the sound, and then the Anthem Stage Pro put in. Use it with mostly mic mix and just a touch of piezo. Interesting journey. So it had the Prefix Pro cut into the guitar, and then they cut in to install the ES2, and then you put the Stage Pro in that hole for the Fishman. Do you have like a ton of holes in the guitar now? Like lots of sound ports in the guitar? ES2 is interesting because they have made revisions over the last few years. That's why I want to try the latest revision. Some people, it gets a lot of hate online, but whenever I've heard it on videos, actually, I think it sounds good for for a piezo system. The Anthem is really the kind of go-to because it's very hard to make the Anthem not sound really good. But hi Jazza, how you doing? Good to see you. How many guitars do I own? Well, I don't actually know the answer to that, and that's serious. And I'm not saying I've got thousands of them. I have some guitars here for review, which are going to go back, and I have one guitar that I bought I used to do like a pickup review of. That's going to be sold on when I'm done with that. My actual collection is I probably got like around 5 electrics and maybe 8 acoustics. Yeah, I haven't counted them lately, but like I said, I'm also about to sell some off as well because I want to put money into other equipment. So I have this plan on the channel because I've done all these pickup reviews to do a few more, to obviously do more pickup reviews. I've got about 3 waiting to be done. And then I'm going to do some pickup comparison reviews, and then I may sell some of those guitars on so I can get some other gear to talk about on the channel. Yeah. My ultimate goal would be to have one guitar, one electric, one acoustic. Has anyone ever done that? Sold everything and had one guitar? I don't know if I could do it because there's always that thing of, well, I need a spare, and then I need to have an OM body, I need to have a dreadnought body, and for recording. And then for a gig, I like a Cole Clark because it sounds great plugged in, and maybe the Acoustasonic because that will do my kind of looping gigs. And then you've suddenly thought, well, that's not one guitar. Let me ask you, how many guitars do you own? Let us know in the chat if you want to. Rusty, hi, good to see you here. Hi from Tupelo. Any update on your Fab Filter HX Stomp experiments? Did you ever use this combo live? If so, how did it go? Whoa, this is a rabbit hole, Rusty. Fab Filter is great with a great pickup. If you use Fab Filter to EQ matching with a bad pickup, I say bad, a pickup that doesn't sound very acoustic, it doesn't sound very acoustic. It can take something like an Anthem that already has a mic and make it sound really much like an external mic. Someone actually replied to my video the other week saying that they'd used that to make IRs and how great it was, and I kind of didn't really agree because that's not really, you can make that an IR, but it's a very rudimentary IR. So that's what I'm saying. If your guitar already sounds really good, like a Maton or a Cole Clark or an Anthem or a microphone-based system, you can then make it sound very, very much like a mic. If your pickup is a basic undersaddle, it doesn't really do it. That's what I've found. Now, thoughts on last week's video where I compared the IR pedals now. No, I haven't used them live. I think most of the time when I play live, I want to take something like the Cole Clark because it's ready to go. Maton, Cole Clark, Acoustasonic, they are made for the stage. Putting the pickup in your regular guitar is something you want to do if you love that guitar, isn't it? But I want to do things like the drumming and the scratching, so I like the Cole Clarks for that, because and the Maton too, because they've got no gloss on them. So I've been using that simply for that reason. When I have tried IRs live, it's been a massive failure, and the reason for that is that an IR is basically recreating a microphone, and you would never put a condenser mic on your guitar at a gig, would you? Well, Spoon Phillips says he does, or he uses the vocal mic even. I imagine people are listening to him because he's great. When I play a gig, people are not listening, they're talking, and I just need to push volume. I've actually started using feedback busters in my guitars now, so I can just really crank it up, stand in front of it, and not get any feedback. You can't do it with a mic, you can't really do it with an IR. With an IR, what you can do is blend it, and blending the IR can work well, but it still depends on that IR. So one of the IRs we tried last week with Kooky was actually made for the stage. He took a lot of low end out, he added some high end, and I would blend that in to get more of that sound. I have had success with it in the past, but you've got to be very careful about feedback and things like that. And also the sound being too kind of distant and getting lost. So if I was you, I do think Fab Filter is great. I would get it. If you're happy with your pickup now and you just want to make it a little bit better, this is more like enhancing the pickup. I would get the Fab Filter and I would do what I did in my video, and I would add it to your Stomp, because the Stomp is a great host for these IRs, or whatever you want to call what that does. I'll call it an IR because you export it as an IR. You could just experiment with blending some in. I'm mostly using the IRs for live streaming, so I can loop and still have that mic kind of sound. And none of them sound just like the mic, but they are getting closer and closer. And I think it worked on Sunday. I used the guitar on Sunday with that IR. I think it was good. And my thoughts on that video are, I've got to take my hat off to Nuix. I think that pedal did a great job. Okay, there were a few frequencies in there that were not desirable, but overall it made a very clear, very good IR for $175, and they deserve praise for what they've done. And they're the only company that let you take the IR out of the pedal and use it in your HX Stomp. I think that's great. And if you got one of those Nuix pedals, Rusty, then I think you should make an IR with that and then load it into your Stomp and then blend it in and EQ it in the Stomp. That could be a really cool thing to do. The other companies do not let you export the IR. You have to rip it out yourself, which is obviously not something they want you to do. I guess they don't want you to share it with someone that has the same model and pickup as you, because then you won't buy their pedal. I do understand that, but it's so convenient when you can use these IRs in other pedals like the HX Stomp, because it lets you add many other things as well. The IR that Kuki made, and then the one that I tone matched. I tone matched with that plugin his IR. It sounded really great, really, really great. And then the other two, the Tone Dexter and the Bags, they're not there for me with the undersaddle pickups. I think they need to do some more revisions on the firmware. I say that respectfully because I can't do these things. I think that they could be. I think that the Bags pedal sounds really good with like the K&K style pickup. That never sounded great with the undersaddle in my tests lately. The Tone Dexter does sound good with all pickups, but it doesn't give me a bright enough map. And that's just my opinion and my experiences. And if you have a different experience, I encourage you to let me know. Alex says, I weigh my guitars every 3 months and after major holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving feasts. Well, if you're going to feed your guitar turkey and stuffing, then we probably should. Lee says, EJ19, did I use Diodario? So I met Diodario at Summer Now and I asked them if I could go out, because their factory is here as well, right near me. I said, can I come out and see your factory sometime? So that's why I'm currently working on getting a portable mic solution. I made some really good guitar store tour videos when I was in Nashville, and I can't really use them. I might throw some clips up at some point in a little video about my trip, but the audio sucked. And I've used my phone before to do interviews and it was fine. But on this trip, it let me down because, like, in the guitar store, they were running ACs and fans, and you just can't really hear what they're saying. It's just annoying. So that's why I got the wireless mics. So I can, next time I do a guitar store video like that, we can use the lav mic, you know. A heavy guitar is not to be stiffed at. I don't know. I don't like heavy guitars. Some people say they sound better. Like a Strat that weighs 8.5 pounds, I'd rather it weighed 7.5 pounds. Let me know what you think about that. Does anyone here have like a Les Paul that's over 10 pounds? Maybe I'm just not a very strong person. Tone Guy says, I've got several guitars with JJB transducers. I also bought the JJB J2 preamp. Great combination, about half the cost of a K&K. The preamp has gain and level controls and is very flexible. That basically sounds like a K&K, which I think is what it is. And it's worth checking out. That's a super affordable pickup and preamp from JJB. And I've never tried it, but people tell me it's basically a K&K. So one person's told me it sounds better than the K&K. Well, I don't know. Sometimes that can be to do with the installation. Professional Procrastinator says the Pulp and Peel V4 also has a built-in DI box. I use the compression blend knob so I have parallel compression and give the attack and damage. This is great. Does it have XLR out then? So I actually have a pedal I haven't reviewed yet that's waiting to be reviewed, which is the Bags Session DI. And it's very similar, it seems. So the Session DI has like a harmonics enhancer. It has kind of a studio compressor, has a DI out. So this sounds similar to that in a way. That'd be interesting to compare those two. I bought a JHS Andy Timmons overdrive pedal a couple of days ago. It should arrive today. Congratulations. I'm sure you're like me and refreshing the deliveries app as we speak. You're absolutely correct. If you want to compare, you have to do it. Yes, because even those few seconds when you switch the cable, it's like your mind resets itself. At least it does for me. So this is great. If you are comparing overdrives or amps or anything, obviously maybe not guitars, but if you're comparing anything you plug into, you should get one of these JHS AB switches. Again, there's cheaper pedals on the market, but look, they make their stuff really nicely, don't they? They make great quality stuff. So, Jasper says, question for Maury. I think Maury's getting ready for his gig at 6 o'clock on the Facebook. Says, question for Maury. Rumor has it Martin Price go up. Yeah, we don't know. You'd have to ask us on Monday. Well, either go to his Facebook at 6 and ask him, or ask us on Monday. Monday we've got Spoon Phillips on here doing another Q&A for Martin Guitars. Not for them, but about Martin Guitars. I'll be so careful what I say all the time. I have the red version of your A pedal. Yeah, I saw that. There's a red version as well. Used to use it on my electric pedal board to switch guitar inputs when using Tele and Strat. Then started using a disaster area switcher instead. Yeah, you can use it for that as well, of course. You can switch between acoustic and electric, things like that. Our ears forget the tones so fast. Yeah, this is a bit of a game changer for me. I almost did a demo of this today, but once again, I'd rather answer questions today. But I was comparing the two, and it just kind of blew me away. I'll try to make a video on that. Hey BMO, JHS makes it pedals in Kansas City. That's what I thought. I don't think they're made by Boutique Amps Distribution, but I don't know the full history. Maury's on vacation. Not yet. He's on vacation starting Saturday for 7 days. Yay, live gig. Yep, I do. And not just I have done like 1 or 2 solo shows. This is a band gig. It changes everything when you got to take a PA system. When you sing and play, you're not just taking. It's no longer a case of I'd rather take a Pod Go or an HX Stomp over an amp. It's a case of, hey, I got to take PA monitors. Thankfully not a sub, but I'm sure they want me to. Mixer, cables, all that cabling. It takes me like an hour to set up the band when I run the PA. And then I got to play guitar as well. I'm not complaining. I love it. But I got to choose the pedal that does the job. It's got to be a pedal that sounds great direct. Maybe I'll take a personal monitor to hear myself because we're not using in-ears at this gig. And it's got to be easy to tweak on the fly. And it's got to give me enough foot switches and have those settings I need. You can load many backing tracks into the looper of the Headrush gig board and loop 5 minutes. Yeah, it's interesting. They did make it very big and heavy. It's like a Helix floor kind of size and weight. And I got mine very cheap when they were selling them. They were selling them cheap at Guitar Center just before version 2 firmware came out. And I got so kind of frustrated waiting for version 2 that I sold it. But now they've got version 2 with a few updates since then. I'd like to try it again. But I don't know if that will happen. Aaron Short Music, good luck with the wedding gig. You should look up what Leo Kotke says about playing at weddings. He prefers doing funerals, less responsibility. I do get nervous, Tone Guy, at wedding. I get more nervous at funeral. I play some funerals, I get more nervous at them because I want to do a great job and be respectful for the family and everyone. But for a wedding, yes, I do feel the pressure. It's a big day in people's lives, and I don't want to. I mean, I'll write the bride. If we got bride and groom next week, I'll be writing their names down for an hour to make sure I don't say the wrong name on the microphone. Right, things like that. I got some stories about weddings I could tell, but probably best I don't. Okay, Alex says Martin already raised their prices for 2021. Okay, so I think that might be a rumor, and yeah, I mean 15% does seem pretty extreme to me, but I don't know. So I'll let someone else comment on that on the channel when they're here. I imagine the post-lockdown used market is going to be huge. Yep. So many people just gave up. Yep. So many people started YouTube channels, bought guitars, took up these hobbies they wanted to do, which is great. That was a great thing about what happened. You know, I say the great thing. A great thing that happened from that. I had time to live stream, learn how to live stream, work on my channel, grow my channel. Right? So that for me was good. Of course, the terrible thing for me is that I lost my regular work. That's awful. And I hope it comes back, and that's why I'm doing this gig next week to try and get more work doing the gigs, because I love doing live gigs, of course, right, as well as doing this. So I think you're right, and I think we'll go from like I said earlier, some used gear selling right now for more than you paid for it because prices went up and it's hard to find, to prices coming down because everyone's selling the guitars they bought. I mean, that sounds really negative of me, doesn't it? A lot of people, or some people, will sell off the guitars they bought during the lockdown. Hopefully they won't. Fender had their best year ever last year, as did many other companies. So let's hope it just keeps growing from there. Jim says everyone raised their prices. Yep. Everyone. Literally everyone. Heather, hi. Thanks as always for your company and insight. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Heather. I don't know if you play the guitar, so I hope you're enjoying it anyway. Software versus hardware is a deep rabbit hole. It is. You've got the software, the hardware, and now you've got some hybrid gear as well. They all have benefits. They all have strengths and weaknesses. What are my thoughts on the Boss AC3? Well, Tom, let me look this one up. Boss AC, you mean the acoustic simulator? You know, I'm pretty harsh on acoustic simulators, and I know I reviewed the Kemper one and made a video and said it was great. Yeah, these things are always great for what they are. But the problem is, and again, I was thinking about this for my gig that's coming up. It's very hard to, I'll give you a break from the music for a second. It's very hard to make an electric guitar sound like an acoustic guitar. Heck, it's very hard to make an acoustic guitar sound like an acoustic guitar. So don't tell me that some peddlers out there that can make my electric guitar sound like an acoustic guitar. I think they can make the guitar sound acoustic-y, like acoustic-y, more acoustic. But and maybe in a big 7-piece band, that would be a cool thing to use for. And I haven't, by the way, I haven't used this. I've used the model of this in the Helix, right? Maybe it'd be okay to use if you're covering Wonderwall and you want it to sound a bit like an acoustic. They just never sound like an acoustic to me. But like I said, many acoustic guitars don't sound like acoustics to me either. So I don't know. This is really a personal thing. If you try this is a good pedal, by the way. And if you use it and you think, yeah, it works pretty well. I think it sounds like an acoustic. That's what I think an acoustic should sound like. That's great, you know. But for me, that's so hard for me to have an opinion on a pedal like this because I'm so into like getting my acoustic guitar to sound just right through a live stream that this is not something that will get me close enough. And if you think about it, if your electric guitar has 9 gauge strings and your acoustic has 12 gauge strings, and if the electric guitar has magnetic pickups and your favorite pickup systems on acoustic have microphones and piezos, there's already a massive gap in what you can do there. And then some people use IRs. I think an IR that's not made for the instrument can sound really bad. Having said that, like I think the Variax by Line 6 is one of the best products. And sometimes I talk about older products from companies that were great and should be brought back. This is one of them. Check this out. I think you should put that money into buying one of these if you're a Line 6 user. Because the Line 6 Helix, the floor, again, you need the floor for this, will power this thing and allow you to turn that acoustic sound on and off with a foot switch. That is really cool. And these are nice guitars. When they did these guitars with James Tyler, and they're actually on sale now because they've got some dent and scratches. Look. When they did these with James Tyler, they made great guitars. There's also a Yamaha version, but I think I would rather get the JTV, the James Tyler version. You know, this wheel always looked a bit funny to me. But it's great. And these do sound like acoustics. Some people still don't like these though, because they say the acoustic sounds too wet and distant. Yeah, that's because it's an IR. I actually think these recorded, even with the electric strings, sound very convincing. Now, I'm not going to use one probably because I'd have to use the Helix with it. And I'm not always using the Helix these days. But I mean, look at this. Look. If I was using Helix all the time, I would use this without hesitation. Look, it looks cool. This one doesn't have the wheel because it's built into these knobs. So this one is very it just looks like a regular guitar. And they've got these right now. This is a demo for just over $1,000. And they got 2 there. Just over £8. Actually, their weight isn't bad either. So I really think the only way right now to get a really convincing acoustic sound from an electric guitar, as far as I know, is this. And otherwise, I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to use like the pickup on my Strat that sounds the most kind of like an acoustic anyway. So I hope we see advances. I hope the acoustic simulators get even better in time. But I think I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm so invested in acoustic sound. I'm not good at commenting on that. Why am I hearing music faintly in my earbuds? Then Aaron takes a breath. Jim, I just wanted to try something different this week. I wanted to play some music while I'm talking because without the music, I just feel like I'm sitting in my room talking to myself. And the breathing is because I'm breathing. I think I need to breathe. I am talking a lot today, aren't I, Jim? I actually came here to address viewers' comments, and I've had so many chat comments, I didn't even do the viewers' comments. So I'm not going to because I want to finish at 6. So that's absolutely fine because the viewers' comments I have replied to quickly anyway. And I just encourage anyone with a question that wants me to speak about it more to come here and discuss it with me on a Thursday. Sunday is for performing. Monday is for Martin Guitar Focus at the moment. And Thursday is for these questions, right? And if you want me to really talk for a long time about a question, consider sending me a super chat, and I'll go into as much detail as I possibly can. You can lock the touchscreen. Okay, that's good. That's good to know, and very important. You don't want to switch anything by mistake. Dan says I'll stick with analog wherever possible. That's where I'm at these days. I look at the digital stuff for fun because it can be cool, adventurous. I stick with analog whenever I can. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you need like the digital compressor in your Apollo Twin because you don't own a physical rack compressor you can't afford or fit it in the room, right? So there are times, but I'm the same. I try to keep things analog when I can, but there are times when I want digital. For example, a mixer. I almost got an analog mixer thinking that it would be really cool to be that old school, to mix on the fly. And I thought, yeah, but you know what? I really want that anti-feedback button. And I really want a compressor on there. I built in. I really want like a few effects. And so that's why I went for the hybrid mixer. I'm going to switch that out this week. The only thing possibly more dangerous than using a touchscreen on a pedal while playing at a gig might be using a touchscreen interface in your car while driving. Yeah, I played a little while ago and I used the Tabs app. The Tabs app on the iPhone is great, but it kept hanging. And I'm like, I'm there to perform. And to be fair to me, I didn't have time to learn all their songs because they gave me a week to learn 10 songs, right? So I didn't have time to learn them all. But the app was hanging. And I'm just like, people are looking at me, waiting for me to sing a song. And this app is frozen on the screen. See that? You really have to think practically. I just spent a year of not playing any shows in this room, and it was fine to mess around with apps. Like, I say that respectfully. I'm saying like you shouldn't do that. It was fine for me to try the apps and try the pedals and try these different things out. But I think, and I don't want to put this across as condescending either, but when you're playing a gig, it is different because the minute you even get to the gig, there's all this pressure, like you were saying about the weddings. There's suddenly this pressure on you. And this might just be me, but there's this added pressure that you don't get at home. When you're at home and you're like having fun and trying this new app and trying this song out. In a wedding, with a wedding band, like I got to do the sound, the guitar, sing the songs, change the songs. In this particular band, you have to tell them what the next song is. And I've got to keep my eye on the room to make sure the volume's not too loud. Right? So, and I've got this kind of pressure because I haven't done a gig in a while that I want to do a good job. So I'm not saying it's a problem, but it's a problem in that I don't want an added 5 seconds every time I load a song. And okay, it could just be that app, and they might fix it with a firmware update, all this that people say, but I also don't want to go back to using a ring binder in front of my face, but you do have to find the gear that works for the gig that you're doing. That's very important. At least it is for me. I need some water. Dear Aaron, don't you... I mustn't lose my voice. I've got lots of songs to learn. Don't you agree that a gig remembering chords and lyrics would be awesome compared to using an app? Reading lyrics will ruin your performance. No lyrics memories with no groove. Do you agree? Yes, totally. Totally. When I was playing back in the UK, I didn't ever use lyrics for anything. I wanted to just play the song. I studied music performance, and I believed in delivering the song. you can't do that when you're reading the words, right? I only started using, in fact, a friend of mine told me the other day, he was laughing because I said, I got to learn 100 songs for next week on the guitar. And he was laughing because he was saying, when we worked in a duo together, you made me learn 30 songs from memory in a week with no charts. You told me no charts. You're going to play to the audience or not at all. I don't remember doing that. That makes me feel bad that I did that. But that is what I used to firmly believe. It all changed when I came to America because I suddenly had to learn a bunch of new songs, more country songs, and I started using an app for that to learn the songs on the gigs. So initially I was playing a lot, right, all the time. So I used that to throw some new songs in, and then you find you get reliant on it, and now I use the lyrics pretty much for every song. And of course it takes away from the performance, because rather than look at the audience and engage with them and get in and really get lost in the song, you're reading a screen. So it doesn't look as good, and I'm sure it doesn't sound as good because you're not able to connect as well. So that's something I want to get away from, but I'm always going to do that for a gig where they want loads of requests. So I'm going to move away from my phone. I've used the phone because it's so small. I'm going to use a big iPad at this wedding gig because I've got to play 100 new songs. I can't. Maybe I could memorize them all, but I want to make videos this week as well. So I'm going to use a big iPad. The rest of the band will use an iPad. It does have its use, but yes, it totally takes away from the performance. No doubt about it. So if you can memorize your songs, if you're doing like 3 songs at a gig, then memorize them. Yeah, definitely. Nobody remembers the budget for a duffel bag full of cables. Yeah, I know. My bag of cables weighs as much as an amp. It's really heavy. And it's got... I use Megami cables. I love them because they're great quality. And when they do break, they replace them just there and then. So I use those, and I spent a lot of money on those cables, and I hope to have them the rest of my life. I look after them, so I have them in a nice big bag. But if I lost that bag, I've just lost all my gig money, right? You have the things you don't think about with a gig. Mics, cables, monitoring. There's a lot to think about. That's just part of the job though, right? BMO says, Poo Ninja, I may have confused the JHS with Wampler. Yeah, I think Wampler were made by BAD. I thought Dave said they made some JHS pedals at Boozy. Oh, maybe they made some one-offs. I don't know. But I don't think they make them all there. Ah, that's right. They do Wampler, says Poo Ninja. Cool. I own one less than too many guitars. I think I'll use that answer next time, BMO. The real question is, what guitar would you keep if you could only keep one? This would be pretty high up on the list of my electric guitars. I sometimes wonder if it should have a humbucker in it. But otherwise, it's really a fantastic guitar. I think you should have one guitar for each tuning and then 7 or 8 more just in case. Well, I think that's what a lot of people do. Okay, so Steven says, I just bought the Helix LT for gigging. I'm a guitar player and keyboard player. Love being able to control everything via band helper MIDI. Yeah, I imagine that is great because the Helix floor has 2 inputs, so you can plug in your guitar and your keyboard and then switch between presets for each instrument and have them both plugged in at all times. That is really cool. That is really cool. Is the Helix floor what I'll be using at this wedding band gig? We'll tune in during the week to find out. Thomas Nonsense says, the most guitars I've owned is 37. Wow. I've sold most of those and bought others, but have 20 at the moment. Includes a bass, a mandolin, and a ukulele. They're mostly electrics. I have to leave, but finally I subscribed. Finally, Wern. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, hoping to celebrate my next milestone soon. So I've got 8918. If you've got any friends that like guitars then, or gigs or whatever, then send them my link. Help me get to 9K this week. I'd appreciate it. Rusty Benton says, I'm having IR success with the Baggs Voice Print DI about 75% in a fairly low volume gig using the Ultratonic. So I remember when I did those videos with Baggs, I told them I prefer it at 75% because it lets some of the pickup cut through from the wetness. And they kind of said to me, well, run it at 100% for the demo so people can hear it. So that does make sense. And maybe you would do that for streaming as well. But I agree, 75% blend on these things is pretty cool. Right now anyway, because you want some of that cut. Sometimes you want the cut of the pickup more than the sound of a microphone at a gig, right? Sometimes a microphone sound at a gig does not work, but it works for streaming and recording, of course. And also, my feeling is the voice print DI works really well with the K&K, the Trance, the Ultratonic, anything that sticks onto the soundboard of the guitar. It works really well. I think the undersaddle pickups are much harder to tame, and I don't think it works as well with them. But I'm hoping they'll release an update, right? Oh, cool. So I have another video I'm working on. I'm starting to get some, I'm being careful, but I'm starting to work on some remote video ideas, and I got one that came to me yesterday, but I'm still waiting to get permission from the company, so I'll let you know what that's going to be. But look out for some more kind of stuff away from this room coming up soon. Rusty says, okay, that's great. I'm glad you're having success. I love LR bags. I made those videos with them. I think that pedal sounded really great with the K&K. I just want to see more. And again, I say this respectfully because I don't want to be someone that says, that's not good enough, that sucks, like do better. I'm not going to do that, because I couldn't make these pedals, right? And they all have pros and cons. I just want to see them improve, and then as I feel they improve, I'll make a new video to say, hey, they just improved this pedal, and now, you know, if you should check it out now, right? That's all I want to do, just like report on what's happening and give my opinions on it. Isotope makes some good plugins to help repair noisy audio. What are you trying to say, Poo Ninja? Have I got noisy audio? Oh, from the on location. Yeah, I tried a few things. It's just a lost cause. So I got those Rode clip-on thing. I'm going to use them next time I do it on location. Here he is. I use JJB2. They're great, especially for the money. Yeah. I thought you told me they're better than the K&K. Jim says, my local shop has a Martin custom shop, Grand Performance, 14 fret style acoustic guitar, natural cedar. You got me worried there, Jim, because a few weeks ago we were talking about a model that Martin made with a sound port, a sound port in it, the hole in it. And it looks so great on this model. And the model was really interesting, the woods and everything. And they made like 50. And I suddenly started thinking, wow, that'd be a cool thing to find lying around somewhere. But I was worried you were going to say that was the guitar. And I was going to say, where is it? Speaking of heavy guitars, has anyone played a Guild acoustic? The old American-made ones can be neck breakers. I think you asked me to at NAMM, didn't you? Or someone did. And I did try to play one, but I didn't get around to it. The weight thing for me is interesting because I think some guitars can be too light as well. I don't want a guitar that's too light, and I don't want a guitar that's too heavy. And then some people say I'm fussy. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, I told you I'd give you an update on this because Professional Procrastinator has these, right? So I spoke with them. They were very friendly. They were very helpful and efficient, everything else. I told them I've finally figured out how to put them in. I know how to put them in now. I said, look, when I sing, I get a weird sensation of them moving that I don't get with these. The sound is very nasal. There's not a lot of bass. And I'm hearing a lot of sound from the outside world. And yes, I did have the plugs in when I decided that. So they were great. They said, okay, we're going to adjust them. And I think what they've done is they've made them a bit thicker. I don't know how they do it. They build it up somehow. And they may have made one slightly longer, I think, but maybe. But I'm a bit disappointed because they still don't fit right. Now I find the left one fits really well. So it's blocking out a lot more sound now. Now it's like an earplug. But the right one is still a bit loose. I'm going to have to send them back for another refit. And I just feel like, I mean, tell me if you bought in-ears and this is normal. I just felt like at the show, like NAMM show, like, well, they're going to make molds of my ears and they're going to send me these plugs and they're going to go in perfectly. They're going to sound incredible and they're going to fit great. And they're not so far, but they've offered to try again, and I'll let them try again. But the problem with these is if they don't fit just right, you don't get the sound. They have to fit exactly right. So they isolate you like an earplug, and you get all the frequencies. And they're just not doing it. And I'm pretty frustrated that I spent that much money on these. I really wanted to invest in these. I want something really high quality for my videos, because these are $50, right? I wanted something really high quality, so I know what I'm hearing is really high quality. I want them to be more durable. These do break sometimes. I have to replace them. I want them to be more durable, and just sound amazing. And so far, I think they're durable. I think they're much more reliable than these. I think they'll last obviously longer because they're plastic and not rubber, but they're not sealing right, and therefore they don't feel that, one feels looser than the other, and that makes the sound not even. And I'm feeling pretty frustrated, and I'm not complaining on my channel. I'm saying this in case you're looking to buy in-ear monitors, and it might just be me. I'll say that as well, because there are people here that have had these made and they love them. Okay, but I am not. Don't say I'm fussy, because I am, but they're not working for me, and I'm going to ask them to change them again. Yeah. Hey, this channel is about gear, and you want me to be honest, right? I'm not. I don't want to come across as like difficult or whatever. I probably am, but I want to help you, because no one helped me when I got these. Like no video or anything said like beware of having to get refits, and no one said that. And again, it could just be me. I do totally get that, but these are not working for me yet, and I will let you know if they work for me after the next refit. And then after that, I don't know what I'll do. I have to get them right, because these won't fit anyone else's ears. But I think I'm just frustrated because they're not fitting my ears, and I thought they scanned my ears to make them fit my ears. So that's where I'm at right now. They did send me a free T-shirt when they sent them back, but I don't really want to wear the T-shirt until I like the in-ears. So please don't take that the wrong way or repeat it to anyone. I just want to put that on my channel because that's my experience, and that's my. I want to do more of like a diary format now, like. This is my experience with this piece of gig and a gear and the journey it took me on, right? I don't want to just make a video where I say, hi, I've got the ultimate ears and they're wonderful and you should buy them. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to say, I invested in this and it's working or it's not working, and this is the reason why, and this what may have happened, and ultimately did it work for me? So it's more of a case study than just a YouTube review. I'll still do those because sometimes it's easy. Like this is a great pedal, and you should get one if you need a switcher to test gear. It's great. What can be bad about this, right? It's just it's a very simple pedal. Some people say they can make it themselves. It's a great pedal, but with these in-ears, it's so personal that I don't know. I wish it was right the first time. I'm frustrated that they're not right the first time. So whether I'm right or wrong to think that, I don't know. The Real Ting says, I do lots of weddings. They're really enjoyable, and I consider it an honor. I don't really get stressed as my prep routine is very well worn. Some musicians think they're above weddings, not me. No, that's an interesting comment, isn't it? Are you above a gig? Like I'm not you, but anyone. Like, oh, I don't play bars anymore. I don't play weddings anymore. I don't play stadiums anymore. That's actually a great topic for a chat sometime on here. I love weddings. I'm only when I said I get stressed, I guess I get more stressed at those than a bar gig, simply because I've done more bar gigs. I do less wedding band stuff now. I want to do more of it, right? But I do more solo shows because I play guitar and sing. It makes sense for me to do that. With the wedding band, it's like there is that added expectation. There is a big night. And that again might just be me. I think Real Ting does these every week. So when you do anything every week, it becomes kind of part of what you do, right? It's like when you start live streaming, you and you and I still do that now, but I'm so much more relaxed now. I'm probably too relaxed. Like what I just told you about the in-ears, probably too much information. Like I'm trying to find this balance of being honest with people that are watching this channel, and also not being disrespectful to a company or anyone else. Because I know sometimes people need to make things right, and I always try to tell when they do. But yeah, I think most of 50% of that wedding thing is the fact that I need to do more of them. Especially when I used to play in wedding bands, it was a 3-piece band. Even just mixing the sound for a 7-piece band is a new thing for me to learn, right? It's a new skill. That does mean that you have a new challenge, which is good as well. But that's an interesting concept of saying, well, I've outgrown that now. I only want to play in theaters, or I only want to play. And that's okay if a musician thinks that. It's totally their choice where they play. And I may have even said it about some bars. I don't play there again. Like someone threw a beer on me or something. So I get it. But for me, a wedding is a really great thing. You're part of someone's really special day. So I agree. I think it's a great thing. And right now, I just want to be playing. So, They're also reasonably well paid if you're good and can command what you're worth. Well, real team, you know. Enough said about that, right? Do I need to make a comment on that? I probably do, but I'm not going to. Are you taking the Acoustic Sonic for the wedding show? I am not, because they're expecting me to play electric guitar. So most of the songs we're playing are electric based, and the Acoustic Sonic does a great job of like slightly crunchy, dirty electric sounds, but it doesn't sound like my Strat through a great pedal or whatever. It just doesn't sound or feel the same. So since I'll be playing as the main guitarist, I'll take my electric guitar. It's also easier to bend the strings and everything like that. I was going to take the Acoustic Sonic when I thought there'd be another guitarist, because I was just going to sing and use that, and on the rock songs I could then use the drive sounds. Perfect for that. But when I'm the only guitarist, I'm going to take the Strat. Acoustic simulators are great compromise if you're in a dense mix. That's what I was saying. If there's lots going on, it works better. If you're just going to sit here with headphones on and play it alone and play Blackbird, you're going to hear everything, aren't you? You're going to hear all the stuff that's not acoustic-y. I have to switch instruments in mid-song. Yeah, they don't really cut it solo. That's what I've heard awful acoustic plays. Yeah, some simulators probably sound better than some pickups. So here's a question. I know the Kemper has an acoustic simulator now. Have you used the acoustic simulator on the Kemper in a band mix? And how did it work? Exactly. We'd all love a real plate reverb, but have you seen videos on a real plate reverb? That's a huge box, and you would never take that to a gig. Roseanne says, I really want a Martin guitar with holographic glitter in the lacquer, but Lee says, no. They have made one. There was a female singer that does a lot of actually, Poo Ninja, you'd like this girl. Her name's Adara. And she had a model made by Martin that had all this stuff on it like that. She was going to make a video about the whole process. I never saw it. Your earth water always looks delicious. Your earth water always looks delicious, Luke. That was Darth Vader. Older proven gear over newer cutting edge gear in a live situation. What is simple and works great. Someone told me years ago, they said our band, I was a kid, and they said to me, our band just got new gear and we're really happy about that, but we don't take it all at once. We take one thing per gig. So the guitarist just got a new guitar, a new pedal board, and a new amp. They don't take all of it to the gig. They take the new guitar with the existing rig, and then they take the new amp with the existing board, and then they take the board. You don't use all new stuff because you've got to learn how to use the stuff, right? So I also agree with that, and that's the reason why I didn't keep the Quad Cortex, because it's cutting edge and got all this fancy stuff in it and had some good sounds, but it didn't have the modes I needed. It didn't have like a hybrid mode where you could switch between effects and amps. It was just one or the other, and it was really not practical for a live situation for me without adding a bunch of more stuff. And it didn't have all the effects on it. It didn't have the looper. I found a workaround for the looper. I can't use workarounds for loopers at a wedding gig. I need something I can just plug in and play. Poo Ninja is full of bubbles. Okay, this is getting weird. No lyrics is fine if you're in full control. And by the way, Real Ting is the person that I told no charts to. We were talking about it the other day. It's fine if you're in full control of your own songs, but if you're like me and play with multiple bands and get new songs thrown at you all the time, you can't afford to freeze up mid-song. And I agree. For me, having that safety blanket there is what's important. And you know what? I think you don't have to use it, right? It can be there, and then you don't have to use it. You can play the song and look around, and then it's more of a safety net. Like when John Mayer has the lyrics scrolling on a big arena gig. He's not standing there and reading the lyrics. He's playing the guitar and performing, but then if he suddenly blanks on a chorus, he can just look down and he's got it. And he can like get down with the guitar. You don't even know that he's doing it. So there is a time and place for that stuff too. Well, are you talking about my water? Oh, my water has bubbles. They're not actually bubbles. Look, they're just in the plastic. There's been some great topics today. I've really enjoyed this. Some really, really cool stuff that's made me think. I hope it has made you think as well. And stuff that I can use for videos here too, which is cool. Thank you for answering emails and chat. Much appreciated. I learned so much from you. Well, Jasper, I'm happy to do it. I really want to grow this channel. I want to do more videos, more streams, more traveling, and show you different things. And all I ask is if you do enjoy it, please join us for the live streams. Give us a like, and make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell. If you're ever in like a forum and people are talking about any of this kind of stuff, if you can say, oh, we spoke about this on Aaron's channel, check out his channel, that will really help me out. Because obviously the more numbers I get on here, the more power I have to kind of like go and see companies or do these videos, right? And also, if you want to help me out, I have affiliate links below. So if you're buying from Sweetwater, you can click that link and buy anything from Sweetwater, and I get a commission at no cost to you. And if you really like it here, you can also send me a super chat, or you can buy me a coffee now as well, like that. And I might not buy a coffee. I'm cut out caffeine for a while for my voice, but I might put that money, I will put that money into like gear for the channel, like these microphones I just got and things like that. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Jim says, I have heard horror stories of gig musicians getting equipment and gear stolen. How do you get around this? I don't know, Jim. And some people here have had gear stolen. So this is a conversation we could have next week. This is a good topic we could talk about for a while. Maybe I should get an insurance company on here to talk about this. Or is that too slimy and like, I'm trying to tell you that. But I'm sure we all have our own experiences with this. A friend of mine a few weeks ago had his car broken into, took his stuff. Obviously, I don't know, not my place to talk about this stuff maybe, but don't leave stuff in your car. Always have someone looking at the gear. I remember when we did gigs in London, someone would watch the gear while the other person took the gear out. When I'm by myself, sometimes it's difficult. Like if I want to pack away myself, and sometimes it's difficult to know if something has been stolen. And the problem with gigging is, if they take your Helix, you've just lost all the money and a lot more, probably, than you made for that gig. So I would, and I should take my own advice now, I would take pictures of all your gear, list the serial numbers, get good cases for it, try not to let people near the gear while you're setting up, of course, maybe label your cables and things somehow so you know which is yours. Because even at a gig, if a musician takes your cable, what if you've got an $80 Megami cable and you're making $300 that night? That's not good, right? So you gotta find a system. And actually, a new system that I want to do is a checklist as well. So a checklist of everything I'm taking, and then on that day when I'm loading the car, I tick off what I'm taking. And like I said, just if you can, never leave that stuff unattended, because people see that and think, oh, that's worth a lot of money. That's actually a really good question and a really good thing to think about as a musician, right? So now we're starting to get out and playing gigs again. That's something that's really, really, really important. And I do hear horror stories from people, not regularly, but every couple of years or so, I hear that someone had their stuff stolen, and it's horrible. So maybe that's something we should talk about. Poo Ninja, I'd imagine there are some other minerals in your water if it's all recycled. Alex, I have 2, and I feel like it's one too many for my needs and playing level. I wouldn't say, someone said the other day, what guitar should I buy? Should I buy this guitar? And someone said, this is on Facebook, someone said you should buy the cheaper guitar. And I just wanted to say, why? Like if you can afford it, and we never want to get into debt over buying gear, of course, but if you can afford a guitar that will inspire you to play it more, then don't tell someone they shouldn't get that one. So if having 2 guitars means you mix it up and you enjoy that, Alex, that's great. But on the flip side of that, sometimes I think I should just have 1 guitar. I mean, for a start, the guitar I'll take next week, my HSS guitar, I'm going to have to intonate it and set it up. I always think if I just had 1 guitar, I could just have that professionally set up and you're going to tell me to do it myself or whatever. Whether I set up myself or someone else does it, it's only 1 guitar to care for and restring. If you have multiple guitars, then you've got to care for all those instruments, and that takes time as well, right? And more money as well. Jim, stay with your equipment at all times. Have cheaper instruments for sketchy gigs. Well, sketchy gigs, where are you playing, Real Ting? I've had a bunch of instruments stolen, but it's been from my home. Wow, that's horrible. That is really horrible. I remember that. yeah, that's another option. Maybe don't get, buy used stuff, get cheaper things. Like don't take a PRS to a gig where you're not sure about the place. I don't know. And sometimes I think, well, I want to take my best stuff and just use it because life is short, So that's something you've got to think about, definitely. I agree, and the Bags voice print DI works really well. Works great with the Bags Anthem or K&K. Yeah, I think my feeling is that the Anthem already sounds great, but it makes it sound even more mic-like, whether you want that or not. That's not always a good thing. And the K&K, yeah, the undersaddle though, it does not transform that in the way I want it to yet. I know this isn't Martin exclusive talk, but have you played the Martin Modern Deluxe? Do you think they're too light? Oh, can we save that one for next week? Because I've got a lot of thoughts about that. In fact, can we talk about that on Monday with Spoon Phillips, Alex? Because I need to wrap up in 10 minutes. So let me please ask me that on Monday with Spoon or next Thursday, because that would take me 10 minutes to answer that question. I've really struggled with in-ears for a long time. My ear canals, particularly my left one, are small and pop most out. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. I considered customs, but I also know several singers who hate theirs. Yeah, well, these are $50. I talk about them a lot on my channel. On my videos about in-ear monitors, they're in the description of Amazon. You can use my link if you want to. And they're great. They feel great. I got a super chat. Thank you, Tom G. I really appreciate it. Let me give you one of these in return. No, not one of those. That's the music. Hang on. One of these. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I've really struggled. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I just don't understand why they don't fit better. I don't understand why they don't sound better. These are $50, and I'm not going to say they're better, but they don't have those issues that the customs have. Now, maybe if you get the customs made just right and they tweak them enough for you over weeks and months, they'll be better. I'm sure they would be, but I know. And then using in-ears versus stage monitors is another conversation we can have about gigs, because a lot of my friends now say, well, the Kemper with in-ears sounds like the amp. I agree with that. I can make my Kemper sound just like the amp with in-ears. I can do it so I switch between them and they sound exactly the same to me, or close enough that I would never tell which was which, really. Not all the time. I'd still pick the amp most times, but the in-ears thing takes that out of the equation. The amp in the room thing out of the equation. With the in-ears at a band gig, though, the problem you have in New York is that there's some agencies that throw you together with musicians. And what happens is, if I'm running the sound, I can't imagine setting up 7 in-ear monitor systems and mixing their in-ears for them before we start a wedding. So what they tend to do is just bring amps. The keyboard player has an amp, the bass player has an amp, the guitarist has an amp, and then your PA is just running the vocals. And that's why I still need to own an amp to take to this wedding band. Mr. Aaron, I feel like I'm a teacher again. I used to be a teacher years ago. What would you like to have? A 0028 Modern Deluxe or a 0028 Eric Clapton? Honestly, so can I pick something else? Because the Eric Clapton has the V-neck that I just don't love. I know some people love it, and if I love V-necks, I would get the Clapton without hesitation. But I don't love V-necks, so I'd rather have a guitar without the V-neck. The Modern Deluxe guitars, again, I got too much to say about them. So let's talk about those next time. But you have to remind me, okay? But, okay, pick one right now. I can't. I would pick the Modern Deluxe because of the slimmer neck, but then that neck's very slim. I would actually pick a 0028 Standard Series. I hope that's allowed. That answer's allowed. I recently discovered Shaw's work very well for me in terms of fit, so I got a pair of SC535s. Okay. A second pair, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I kind of wish I'd just gone up a few $100 and got something that's not custom but higher quality, if there is such a thing. Sometimes the cheap stuff does work really well. I don't know. Lee says they take months to get used to. Really? But I'm just not happy right now because one isn't even fitting right. I don't understand what the problem is. I paid a lot of money for those. It sounds like the issue comes from when they took the scan. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm disappointed. You didn't have your mouth open rather than tweaking blind. I asked them about that on the Zoom call. They said no, they don't do that anymore. They do mouth closed. Why don't they rescan? Yeah, but at that point, I don't know if I want to continue because I paid that money to have them done at the NAMM show in person, have the scans done, and then receive them. I don't want to now have to go and, I mean, am I gonna have to pay to have the scans done again? I don't know. It doesn't feel good to me, and I know I'm complaining about it. Like I said, it's only to help someone out there if they're thinking about it. Professional procrastinator will probably tell you they're fantastic and he loves them. So that's just my opinion. But I'd like to reach out to another brand and try another pair of someone else's and see how they do, like the ones where you scan with your phone and stuff. I'd like to see what it is. But that's more videos, and I've got some other videos to do before I do that. When I was a wedding DJ, we had a client who I call a serial divorcee. We had 3 weddings for her and 5. No way. Is that true? Holy cow. Super chat from Jim. Thank you, Jim. Oh, and Jeff Cook bought me a coffee as well. Fantastic. I'll give you one too. Says you deserve a coffee. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna keep that money aside and put it into the channel. There's a few things I need to get for the channel. I don't know if Poo Ninja is that true story or not. I hope it's not. I was going to say I hope it is. I hope it's not. I hope it is not. 2 of my closest singer collaborators hate when they resonate funny and vibrate in the ear canals when they're singing. Yeah, I've noticed that because the foam just expands in the ear and fills the ear, but the hard plastic moves because your ear canal moves and it's hard plastic, right? That's one of my problems as well. Now I could probably get used to that, but the fact that one feels tighter than the other, and then the sound is off, and the other thing is these just sound very mid-rangey. Okay, let's roll this back from me complaining and give you some real useful advice. What I would do differently. Supposedly, when you audition the different headphones from Ultimate Ears, they have an app that uses IRs, so you put a pair of headphones in and can instantly switch between each model. Now, remember what I said about the AB switcher? You want to use that. You want to go to a place where they have the app and you can listen. It's not like listening to the real thing, of course, because you're using an app and IRs, right? But you can get a feel for them instantly. That's what I would have done differently, to choose the ones I want. Then I would listen to the ones that I wanted and chosen them. And then I would never ever buy these at a trade show again. I would go to someone local. I mean, this was a family, nice people, but as a customer, I would want to go somewhere local. And you might be thinking right now, well, this is just obvious. But I was at the NAMM show, right? I got caught up in things as I sometimes do. I would go to someone in New York City so I can go back in their office and have them rescanned again until I'm happy. And I would also consider not getting them at all if you're thinking about it, and just get some like Real Teen got, that are the foam, because it is a big jump to go to custom. I still love the idea of custom. I still love that idea, but this is not working well for me. And remember, that's just my opinion. I won't get in trouble. I haven't used the Kemper acoustic simulator on a band gig, but I have a couple of profiles of acoustic simulators. Yeah, I just don't think it ever sounds much like an acoustic. Like I said, it sounds acoustic-y. Acoustic-y. Poo Ninja, I didn't know you had met my ex-wife. Yeah, me and Poo Ninja, we tend to go around other people's chats, and we always see each other in them. But I gotta say, Poo Ninja goes to more chats than anyone else I've ever met, and that's because there's not just one Poo Ninja. There's multiple Poo. We're all a Poo Ninja. Good seeing you, my friend. See you next time. Yes, you did. I saw a notification. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I gotta say, I don't know if it's my place to say this, but this has been a great episode, and I didn't need the viewers' comments. Like I said, I have answered them already in a short form, and I really want this to be for expanding on them. But I didn't need to expand on them today because we had new things to talk about, and the things we spoke about today were really cool, really practical, useful, real-world chat. And it wouldn't have been that without you. Without you, it'd been me sitting here alone talking about the comments, which is also fine. But I love when we can chat like this in real time about our experiences and gear, and things come up that I never even thought about, like insurance and how do you not get your stuff stolen. And that's something we could go into in more depth in the future. So thank you, Tom, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Alex says, sure, let's discuss Mondelux later. Okay, great. I don't think I'm leaving you hanging, but I need more time. Looking forward to it. Just curious because you talked about guitar weight earlier. Do I think they're too light? Depends on the model. Yeah, I need more time for that. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Great answer. My local shop has a standard 0028. I'll try it again. Yes, I think you should. I mean, the OM28, I always talk about it. It's just fabulous. But if you want short scale, the 0028, I would try. Return to sender. Get your money back. Thought about it. I want to give them one more chance. And then will they actually refund me if I end up just saying that they're just not fitting at all? And this is not the place I want to go yet, but are they going to refund something that's made for your ears? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to give them a chance, because I do realize I have influence over even just the people here now, right? I don't want to give you the wrong information because I would feel bad, and I don't want to mislead people. So that's why I'm telling you about this story as I go along. And if it does get to that, I will tell you about it. But it's only, again, I've got to be so careful what I say on this channel. It's only my experience, and I want to find this line of being honest and yet talking openly like I would chat with someone on the phone, but without being disrespectful to any company. There's people here that really like the Ultimate Ears custom in-ears, and so far they're not fitting me, but they are working with me to make them fit. I'm going to give them another chance to make it right again, because that's the right thing to do. But if it comes to like 3 or 4 times and they're still not, I mean, maybe, I guess they'll get closer and closer, right? Maybe next time they'll fit great. And that will have changed the sound as well because they're sealed. But I guess I'll do a few, but then I don't know. So I'll let you know. Rosanna says, Aaron, you should not apologize for being honest. We all really appreciate honesty about your gear and equipment. Yeah, well, I've decided lately to be even more kind of conversational, diary entry kind of videos, because it's really important. Like I said, it's a way of delivering stuff in a fair way to the companies, because I want to encourage, I want to give feedback that will make things better. That's why I want to make, I never want to come on here and say I bought this and it sucks. That's not fair. I would do that if I spent a lot of money on something and they rip me off. I would do it. But I'm not going to do that and damage anyone's reputation. And this is all just my opinion, but I want it to be helpful to people that are on a similar journey to myself, right? Thank you, Tom. Well, that's the last comment, and it's been 2 hours, so I'm going to leave you there. Jump over to Facebook. Check out Maury's music. He's going live to play some guitars right now. And Lee, yeah, I agree, Lee. I agree. I don't want to be someone that's just like, this doesn't work for me, I'm returning it. I want to give things a chance. I think that's only fair. So I'm going to tell them if I need them redone one more time, and then I'll tell you on here if they're any better. But I will give them a few days as well to make sure I've tried long enough. But so far, I'm not where I need that to be. How do you buy you a coffee? Go to buymeacoffee.com/Aaron Short, and you can buy me one coffee. And it's good there. The money goes straight to me. You can buy me one coffee, or you can buy me, what's the word? Recurring coffees if you want to as well. So, or you can just send a super chat here, but either way is great. Some people prefer sending like a coffee than giving like a PayPal or a super chat. So thank you so much. I love today. It was fantastic. Have a great day. Enjoy this evening, and I'll see you on Sunday for the concert. And I'll see you. So now it's Monday, Thursday, Sunday, 4 p.m. EST. And I'm really happy with this stream. I can't believe how great it is to chat about this stuff. And I hope it's helpful to people. So thank you. I shall see you next time. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.